Welcome to this new video on CARX Street, where I'm offering you an exclusive preview of the new update that's coming out next week on PC and console. This update adds a lot of new things. Of course, there are new cars, like this next-generation BMW M2 that we're going to test out a bit today in the video. We'll also be testing the other new cars, of course. But that's not necessarily the biggest new feature of this update. There are other things that I think are pretty obvious in this gameplay, like the new weather system, because up until now, it never rained in the game. In fact, there was only one type of weather, except during the Christmas period when there was sometimes a little bit of snow. You still never saw the snowfall. It was just already covering the ground, making the streets look a bit white. Now there's a brand new dynamic weather system with all kinds of new weather conditions, like rain, for example, which we never had in the game before. Like literally, these are the first images of rain on CARX Street in the world. Actually, with this update, they added a whole new weather management system that's pretty obvious. That's because you can now either turn on dynamic weather, and here, it's really the game that will randomly manage all the different transitions, the different weather conditions that go from more or less sunny to more or less stormy. Or now you can disable this dynamic weather system and choose the weather you want in the game yourself, whether it's to take photos or simply to enjoy a slightly different gameplay experience. To do that, we'll go into Settings, then into Game. And here in Weather and Time, we'll have the option to choose a whole bunch of things. First, we can choose to enable dynamic weather. I turned it off because I wanted to show you gameplay with rain, which is beautiful and really changes the game's atmosphere. You can activate it and let the game handle it automatically. Or you can deactivate it, and now you can switch between different types of weather. So, for example, we have clear weather. That's the default weather we already had before in the game. So wait, I'll show you that. We'll set it to clear, save, and apply. So that's more or less what CARX Street looked like all the time before this update. It wasn't ugly, but let's say the game always looked the same. Now, we also have another type of weather, which is in between, so the overcast mode, but not necessarily rainy. There you go, cloudy, that's what they call it. Here, we can also see the entire skybox that has been redone. Now, it's not necessarily obvious because there are skyscrapers everywhere. The sky is never exactly the same. Sometimes there are more or fewer clouds, or it's more or less blue. That's what changes the game's atmosphere. Here, it's gray but not raining. And then, of course, you can switch to rainy mode, like I was before, with either dynamic weather or stable weather. By the way, wait, let's see what the rain looks like at night. There we go. Because I think that too, damn, it's beautiful.
Franchement?
Honestly, it gives a totally different vibe than before. It's really, really cool. I might even take the thumbnail now, because I think it makes a beautiful picture actually with the M2 there. Honestly, visually, it really pops. With the puddles on the ground soaking everything, and all the little lights, the neon signs, the billboards reflecting in them. It's cool. Something pretty interesting. When you play in the rain, obviously, because of the water, the car doesn't handle the same way. So there's a new rain-specific physics. But since the developers thought of everything, you can disable these effects, let's say, skidding on wet roads. To do that, you just have to go back to the menu we were in here, in the game, and then you go here and set physics simulation when it rains to no. If you set it to yes, indeed, the car will be a little bit slippery, especially the rear-wheel drives like this. They'll be a bit harder to handle in corners, just like in real life. When it rains, we have less grip. So, we have a new dynamic weather system, new weather conditions, a new handling system that changes with the weather, and also as a result, the ability to set the in-game time as we want. That might have been in the game before, but I don't remember for sure. And it's the same. So, even with the sun, the way the sun and sky colors are handled is a bit better than before, and it also offers better transitions depending on the time of day. Because here, for example, we don't have the same lighting at all at 6 a.m. in the game. We have a very orange light with the sunrise compared to 3 p.m. in the game. And that, as far as I remember, wasn't this good before this update. I've reset it to dynamic weather and time so the game will handle it automatically. As we play, we'll see the weather transitions, and we're going to test the other new feature of this update. In addition to new cars, there's a new game mode. I'm not really sure what it's about. It's the art of drifting. Let's go see what it's like. Actually, maybe we won't teleport right away. Maybe we'll drive a bit in this video, just to see if there are any changes in the weather cycle. Let's turn on the headlights. It's better. And I'll show you a bit of the inside of the car. It's true that I haven't shown the inside of the BMW, but I'll show the small interior later, which obviously looks a lot like the one in the Alfa Romeo Giulia, but without the logos. It definitely slides well in the rain. The cars are almost more fun to drive in this game stock than fully upgraded. In the end, about the price, it's true that I didn't mention it. The Alfa costs $200,000 anyway, so it's not cheap. And the new generation M2 costs 330,000 credits. So again, these aren't really easy cars to get. To buy them, you'll have to play a bit to be able to afford them. Actually, what's cool about this weather system is that it really changes the driving. But honestly, the most important thing for me is that it really changes the visual aspect of the game. It helps to smooth things out. Maybe it's also the effect of the rain. We know that in games, when it rains, you see fewer graphical flaws because everything is covered in reflections from the puddles and everything that comes with it. It's visually appealing and satisfying. And it's true that when you play in the rain, I really feel like the game has caught up a bit with the competition. Of course, it's not Forza Horizon 6, let's be honest. But yeah, actually, this change in weather also improves the graphics. Let's check out the new mission system, the Art of Drifting. Maybe it's going to be kind of like a drift school, something like that. We'll see how it goes. All right, maybe we're going to... Oh, that's a nice little RX-8 there. It looks like the RX-8 from Most Wanted. It's cool. So, I think this is a mode where we're going to have a bit of a drift tutorial. Actually, we might have to reach certain scores with a car that's been assigned to us. So is that it or not? Yeah, that's it. It's okay. Okay, so we have an area that we can't leave, which will be marked off. And we have to do as much drifting as possible. As many points as possible within a marked-off area, and within a set time limit. The goal here is to score 7,000 points. I don't know if we'll make it. We'll do the best we can. The game has a system for tracking drift farming, which means that if the game detects that you're doing the same thing too many times, quote-unquote, that you're always using the same drifting system to farm, it detects it and blocks it. So actually, to drift well and get good scores in this game, you have to regularly change your angle, speed, and drifting style. And your speed as well. Otherwise, the game doesn't really reward you the way it could. See, for example, we made a mistake and ended up where we shouldn't be. Oh no, multiplier. Well, it's not a big deal. Even if we don't get the R1 ranking, I think we can still complete the mission. And I think we're going to have several activities like this one offered in this game mode. Wait, if we have to get 7,000 to finish the tutorial mission, that's tough. We'll see. Here, we're doing a little 4,005. We're ranking second. Okay, second out of 2. So, or not. Progression doesn't matter. I'm already max level. Rewarded for his credit. So did it count or not then? So yeah, that's exactly it. Actually, we're going to have a series of missions where we'll simply have to achieve drift point objectives in a given area. That's it. And then we get a decent reward. So here, this is Chapter 2. Our point target is the same, but the area may be easier since there are fewer obstacles. So we can drive a bit faster and maybe, as a result, make some score multiplier combos. And so, here, you have the barriers on the side. You can cross them. But actually, if you cross them, all the drifts you do outside of this wall won't be counted. So, as a result, it's not really worth it. In fact, it's not interesting at all to cross them. Because, well, you just won't score any points, actually. Now, normally we should hit 7,000. You just need to do some nice long drifts at a decent speed. There you go. And normally, that should complete it. So now, that completes it. And then, what do we get? We get XP and we get money. A lot more. But 5,000 XP, 5,000 in cash, is not bad for a race that literally lasts about 20 seconds. What's that going to give us? Yes, it's the same, except that instead of having a defined area, we apparently have a course to follow. Actually, it's a bit like the drift mode in Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. That means there's a route to follow, and you literally have to get the best drift score possible to try to come in first. If we make it, we get a good reward. If not, we get a lesser one. And I think what we're doing here isn't that great. I think that right now, clearly, we're not getting a great score. The goal is 5,000. I have a bit of a hard time imagining that we're going to make it, but we'll do the best we can. That's it. It's like drift mode in Need for Speed. Underground 2. It's going to be tight, guys. Oh no, by 150 points. No! So it's a new story. Essentially a sub-campaign focused on drifting, with closed areas for high scores or tracks similar to Need for Speed Underground. I think that's really cool. Nothing like that existed in the game before, even though drifting was always big. It's still the same studio as CARX Drift, which is cool. And to finish up with this video and the little new features, they've added this. A little pickup, a small work truck. You know, those vehicles from the DDE, the Japanese DDE in truck mode. That's pretty funny. What I suggest is that we quickly go and upgrade it, because I think this is the kind of vehicle that has some pretty funny customizations. So yes, they also added 2 or 3 things that are more minor, but still pretty cool. We can create a category of cars so that we can actually sort them according to this custom category, meaning we can make a favorites category. For example, you can put all the cars you want in it to find them more easily. And now, if I'm not mistaken, you can also sell multiple cars at once. If there are cars you're sure you won't use, like here, I'll give you a few examples. I bought a bunch of cars that I'll never use again in the game. It was just for the showcase video, so I might as well sell them. So, I don't know how reselling them works, if you get back the money from all the upgrades you invested in them or not. Here, I got back 1.9 million, but I don't get the dollars back. You know, the black or gold dollars, which are the currency that's maybe a little bit hard to get in the game. First of all, it's pretty upgradable. Above all, it's one of the lightest vehicles in the game. At its lightest, here, we're at 770 kilos, and that's with 327 horsepower. In my opinion, this could be a great vehicle once it's converted to 4-wheel drive and fitted with a more powerful engine. After that, you can customize it a bit. It has some pretty nice little kits that can give it a sportier look. So I'm checking out the different things that are compatible or not with the body kit. You can actually turn it into a full-on racer. That's cool. Honestly, I kind of suspected it, because even though K-trucks are basically work vehicles, the Japanese also love to modify them to do completely crazy things. So that's kind of what's happening here. That's cool, the little Farstock after all. Okay, so in the back, I think we'll be able to put a lot of stuff, but it's blocked by the body kit we have here. The little body-colored mirrors. Ah, the small tires. Great for drifting. Can we add a big spoiler or not? We can, but it's small. I wanted to add a spoiler like some kind of Formula 1 space age thing. That would have been cool. And then there are the rims. I think the stock rims actually look pretty nice. It looks pretty good, honestly. Then we'll change the tires, because right now, it's going to be horrible to drive. It's just going to be way too powerful. There we go. There we go. Racing tires should grip better, especially if it rains. Actually, I think it might be raining. No, it's not raining right now. Alright, anyway, here it is. A little update that's actually pretty nice. The hard drift thing seems to be pretty cool. It's a new, slightly try-hard feature that kind of looks like the drift from Underground. So for those who are nostalgic, you might like it. We have a new dynamic weather system that gives the game a fresh look and changes driving slightly if you enable rain physics. And then we have 3 new vehicles that are pretty nice. The AM2, the Alpha, and the little truck we have here. And also a few small new improvements, like I mentioned, in the menus, with the ability to create your own car categories to find them faster, but also the possibility, whoa, to sell several cars at once. So there you go, a nice little update that's enjoyable. It's not necessarily the biggest update of the century either, but it's still pretty cool. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Of course, feel free to leave a like, subscribe for future updates, and follow me on Twitch for upcoming live streams. The link will be in a pinned comment. You can also use your Prime to support my Twitch channel. It always means a lot. And I'll also put my instant gaming link next to it, which lets you buy your games, like this one for example, cheaper than elsewhere, while giving a little support to my channel. See you again very soon for another video. Bye!